Hello, and a genuine welcome to you, my fellow dreamer. Take a moment to settle in, silence the noise around you, and focus on the quiet revolution happening inside your mind. You're not just listening to an English podcast. You are charting a course toward a fundamentally different future. Today, we're sharing a story that cuts right to the heart of why you're learning this language. The incredible, almost magical power you hold to change your life. This is not just a lesson in grammar. It's a lesson in courage, ambition, and the unstoppable force of personal transformation. I promise you, this narrative will ignite the conviction within you. As you listen, don't just hear the words. Feel them. Notice the new vocabulary, the words of determination, setback, and triumph, as they weave into the story. Remember this truth. The only difference between a dreamer and a doer is action, and persistence is the fuel for that action. Tell me, what part of the world are you connecting with me from today, and what time is it there? Share it in the comments below. Transition in the next few minutes. You will gain more than just listening practice. You will naturally absorb essential vocabulary related to career change, emotional resilience, and goal setting. You will sharpen your listening comprehension, and most importantly, you will receive a powerful life lesson about confronting the fear of the unknown. Storytelling begins. Our story begins in a small industrial city, far from the bright lights of global opportunity. Our protagonist is a man named Leo. Leo was a factory worker. For 10 long years, he had done the same monotonous job, performing repetitive tasks that required no creativity and offered no growth. His life was predictable, safe, and deeply unsatisfying. He felt like a book that had been closed before the best chapters could be written. Leo had a secret, burning ambition. He wanted to become a logistics manager, a complex, strategic job that required constant communication with international clients. He knew this shift would change everything: his income, his status, and the future prospects of his young family. The only problem: the entire logistics department operated exclusively in English. He tried to learn. He bought textbooks, watched simple videos, and memorized long lists of vocabulary. He spent his evenings staring at pages, but the language remained cold and distant. His study felt like a heavy, isolated burden. Whenever he thought about applying for the logistics job, a terrifying question would echo in his mind. What if I fail the interview? This fear of the what if was his biggest enemy. He imagined himself sitting in the interview room, his mind going completely blank, unable to understand a simple question, let alone articulate his years of experience. He felt the weight of his current reality, the low income, the tedious routine, pressing down on his potential. He was suffering from analysis paralysis, a state of overthinking that prevents action. One day, a major company restructuring was announced. The logistics department was expanding, and a job posting for a junior manager appeared. The deadline was 4 weeks away. This was his pivotal moment, but the fear was crippling. Leo looked at the application, then back at his hands, rough from years of manual labor. He heard his inner voice whisper, "You're not ready. Your English is too weak." He almost dismissed the opportunity, convincing himself he needed another year of study. But then, an image flashed in his mind. His daughter pointing to a university brochure, asking him about studying abroad someday. That image acted as a fierce catalyst, a force that speeds up a process. He realized that his inaction was a far greater risk than any potential failure. The biggest loss wouldn't be failing the interview. It would be living with the regret of never trying. He decided to throw out the old study habits and commit to a radical change in his approach. Leo realized that his old way of studying, isolated memorization, was the very thing keeping him stuck. He wasn't learning to live in the language. He was only learning to pass a test. He needed to stop thinking of English as a subject and start seeing it as a vehicle for change. He committed to a process of radical immersion for the next 4 weeks. He stopped reading grammar books and started reading the daily reports of the current logistics manager, which were posted on the company intranet. He learned that the words he needed weren't academic, they were functional. He focused on phrases like, "We need to optimize the supply chain, this shipment is a priority, and we must mitigate the risk." To mitigate means to make less severe, serious, or painful. His auditory environment became entirely English. He listened to podcasts about global business and logistics during his entire shift. He used every available moment to listen to the flow and rhythm of native speech, not just the individual words. He learned that fluency often comes down to intonation, the rise and fall of the voice, which conveys confidence and competence. The biggest shift came when he decided to practice self-talk. He started narrating his factory work in English inside his head. Instead of thinking, "I must move this box," he would think, "I am moving the carton to the storage facility to ensure timely dispatch." He forced his mind to process the concepts directly in English, bypassing his native language. This was the key to unlocking his verbal fluency. He also sought out a friendly mentor from the HR department, a woman named Miss Chen, who had a reputation for being tough but fair. He walked into her office heart pounding and used his newly practiced phrase, "Miss Chen, I know my English isn't perfect, but I am absolutely determined to prove my aptitude for the junior manager role." Aptitude means a natural ability to do something. Miss Chen, impressed by his directness and use of the conjunction but showing contrast and determination, agreed to give him informal practice interviews. She didn't focus on his grammar mistakes. She focused on his clarity and his confidence. She pushed him to use stronger, more assertive verbs. Instead of saying, "I hope to solve problems," she taught him to say, "I will resolve complex issues." To resolve is a stronger, more professional verb for solving. He realized that his fear had been a lie. He wasn't too weak. He just needed a new strategy. He was building the language of his future, brick by focused brick. The application deadline arrived, and Leo, feeling a mix of nerves and powerful conviction, submitted his name for the logistics manager position. The interview was scheduled for the following week. This was his chance to prove that 4 weeks of radical focus could outweigh 10 years of stagnation. The interview room felt like the final stage of a long, arduous journey. Leo sat facing a panel of 3 senior managers, including Mr. Vance, the head of logistics, who asked the most difficult questions. Mr. Vance began. "Mr. Vance Dixine. Lee, your professional experience is reputable, but frankly, your lack of formal English training is a concern. Can you articulate why we should take this risk on you?" Articulate means to express an idea clearly and fluently. Leo didn't hesitate. He spoke with the voice of a man who had earned his place through sheer grit. He used the strong vocabulary he had practiced in his factory self-talk. "Sir, I understand your concern. However, I have demonstrated my aptitude by consistently optimizing the factory floor processes for a decade. My ability to resolve complex issues is unmatched, he stated. He paused, then used his most powerful sentence. I view my current language skill not as an impediment, meaning a barrier or obstacle, but as a catalyst for rapid growth. I am determined to succeed. His answer was not grammatically perfect, but it was clear, assertive, and packed with professional vocabulary. He communicated his value with such conviction that his minor mistakes simply melted away. The interviewers weren't buying perfect grammar. They were buying confidence and capability. They saw a man who had taken a massive, terrifying leap towards self-improvement. Leo was offered the junior logistics manager position the very next day. His life had fundamentally changed in 4 weeks. The motivational takeaway from Leo's story is clear. Language learning is not a passive academic exercise. It is an active engine for personal change. To truly change your life with English, you must stop studying like a student and start using the language like the professional you want to become. Identify the vocabulary of your desired future, the words of your dream job, your dream city, or your dream career, and immerse yourself in it. Stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start saying, "I am determined to succeed, and I will mitigate the risk." The moment you decide to use English as the vehicle for your ambition, you are already successful. Thank you for joining me on this profound journey of transformation. If Leo's story has ignited your ambition, and you are ready to take the English leap toward your better future, then please subscribe to the channel right now. Don't miss the next lesson on building professional vocabulary. Keep practicing, keep acting, and start living the life you deserve.